Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Who You'd, an unofficial Doctor Who watch along podcast. My name is Ben, and I'm here as always, forever and ever, with my co host, Cam. How are you, Cam?
I am not doing well, Ben. I got an addiction started today. It's not a good addiction.
What's your addiction?
I played my first game of Balatro,
Oh,
and,
really?
and what happened was it was on PS Plus Extra this month. So I was like, okay,
Hmm.
I'll play it. Yeah, I bought it on my phone too. It's a problem. I've been playing it all day long.
Damn. Is it really that good?
Have you not played it?
I have not played it. Just I'm very familiar with the concept, but I don't know. It seemed like it wouldn't be that fun. You're just chasing higher numbers. I don't
It's
know.
very good. It does a good job of having its. If you're unfamiliar with the game, ladies and gentlemen, it's kind of like the best way to describe it is a poker roguelike
Mhm.
that you're just building poker hands for points. And then there's also these things called Joker cards that are like kind of multipliers, or they have like special effects that increases the multipliers or has like a different other effect to it. And it can get pretty addicting because, of course, like a rogue, it has the roguelike structure of you just want to get farther and farther before you die. So you just kind of just want to keep on playing, which also means you're playing for really long periods and then you die and then you stop. Or you die and you go, oh, I gotta play another one. And then you play another hour of it. Like it's bad.
Mhm.
But yeah, last night I saw Jaws with a live orchestra. That was amazing.
Oh, for the anniversary?
Yeah, it was an incredible experience to be able to hear John Williams' iconic score performed live via the Boston Pops. Pretty incredible. How are you doing, Ben?
I'm good. Saw Thunderbolts.
How is that? And people are saying it's good.
Yeah, a lot of the times with Marvel movies lately, it feels like it's a 50-50, whether it's pretty good or if it's eh, really like a coin flip. I think this one, what we got heads. It was a good one. Very fun, a lot of action, dealing with mature topics without constantly undercutting themselves with quips, but it is still funny. It's got interesting antagonists. Good team. Take a lot of people from like not even B characters, but like C characters from TV shows and more recent movies that aren't very good and made me care about them. So I think it was effective. It was good. I enjoyed it.
The marketing campaign is very dumb. As someone who has not seen the movie, I'm like, why did you spoil that? It's such a big spoiler.
Yeah, no, they should have waited more than 3 days.
It does the opposite of like that doesn't make me want to watch the movie more. That makes me go, okay, you just spoiled the movie for me. I'm now less eager to go see it, even though I'm gonna watch it at some point. But like,
I mean, I had a friend who went to see it first. He said, "Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna say here, but he told me that spoiler." And I was like, "Oh, okay." It only really comes into play during the last, like, 60 seconds of the movie
yeah,
and the after credit scene, so it's not that big of a
yeah,
deal.
but just weird. It's a really weird choice. I assume it's just popular. They were like, okay, more people are gonna see that title instead of Thunderbolts.
Then why do the bait and switch at all then?
Because they already committed to Thunderbolts on the release calendar, Ben.
I mean, they already changed the name of the movie to Thunderbolts with an asterisk.
Much easier to change, Ben. Much easier to change. The Marvel roadmap still is the same if you add an asterisk.
I guess? I don't know. It was good though. I am looking forward to what comes next. Fantastic Four.
Yes, that one looks like a good one. Hoping.
Hopefully, if we do the coin flip again, it's another good one.
And then who knows about the new Avengers movies?
I mean, I feel like it's gonna be hard to top Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
And if they're trying it's not like 30 people this time. It's like 100 people.
Yeah.
I feel like one, I don't think literally everybody's gonna be in it. I think it's gonna be most, but not all. Like, I don't think Moon Knight is gonna be in it.
But like I personally I think that they should have went with either doing Avengers versus X-Men or doing Secret Wars or doing whatever the Doctor Doom thing is. Like It's doing all 3 of them at once, it's like, okay, this might be a little bit too much in one movie.
It's not gonna be Avengers versus X-Men. The X-Men are gonna be there because it's this multiverse.
They're gonna fight because of the multiverse, man, and Secret Wars and stuff, but, like,
I mean, the next saga is supposed to be like the mutant saga.
uh
So I think that will have an Avengers versus X-Men movie then.
but they already leaked. I don't know if you saw, but Alan Cummings already said like, I was fighting Pedro Pascal. He's Nightcrawler, and he's like, I'm fighting Pedro Pascal. It's like, oh, you're not. We weren't supposed to say that.
I mean, it's gonna be like one fight, and now we gotta team up against Doctor Doom or something like that. Like how Deadpool and Wolverine are initially enemies, and then they work together. Something like that. It's gonna be like one fight. It's not gonna be the whole movie.
Who knows?
I guess we'll have to see.
All I know is I want Michael Chiklis in this movie, Ben. I want it so badly.
I don't know who that is.
He's the original. He's the 2000s. The thing, the one in the styrofoam suit.
Oh, I was wondering. I don't recognize this person because I googled him, and I wouldn't because
Because he has a bunch of load of styrofoam on him. And I want him, I don't want him to be CGI. Don't do this to me, Marvel. Bring him back with the styrofoam suit. The same one.
yeah. Would you want the other guys?
Like they would be okay, but like the main person that's great in those movies is Michael Chiklis.
What if we get Chris Evans as the Human Torch again?
But like I don't care. I don't care at all. Maybe about that the guy who played Mr. Fantastic, I forget his name.
I don't know how to pronounce that name. Ione Grufford?
Yeah, Ian Griffith, maybe?
It's probably Ian. It's Welsh.
Yeah. Sorry, the Welsh people listening. That's the biggest fans of the original Mr. Fantastic. But it would be cool if like we got uh like all the Mr. Fantastics where it's like it's him, it's Miles Teller, and it's uh John Krasinski and Pedro Pascal.
Oh yeah, John Krasinski. I don't think we're gonna get him back.
Oh no, he's too busy having a hot wife.
He's got to do IF2.
Doing whatever the hell the next Jack Ryan. Is he still Jack Ryan? Who knows? But this is not a Jack Ryan podcast, Ben.
This is a Doctor Who podcast. Today, we will be talking about the Ribos Operation, the first serial of season 16, The Key to Time.
Do 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 do. The invasion of time. That's not the invasion of time. This is the key of time. Strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. This is a season long arc.
Oh, yes.
Very similar to what's going on in the TV show now, of course. TV show now this season that's airing at the moment has a very similar season-long arc of trying to get back to Earth 2025, which really we had Flux, but Flux doesn't really count. This is more similar to the new season of the show where it's kind of is just like as you could tell with this episode, it's kind of technical, but it's kind of is just like a thing to do.
Yeah,
Like, okay, here's the thing. All right, here's now there is the rest of the story.
yeah, what I'm guessing is gonna happen, my understanding is it's just we have a they already wrote what the MacGuffin is gonna be for each of these 6 stories. It's gonna be pretty much unrelated. That's my guess. We will see.
Oh my god, we stumbled upon the MacGuffin. Now we can leave. Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah. So this is the first series of season 16, The Key to Time. Have you seen any of these other than Reboss Operation?
Before this, it was a mixed bag. A mixed bag of I really couldn't tell you what. One of the libraries near me did have the Key to Time like box set, or at least partial parts of it. I don't remember what I saw and what I didn't see. Because as a kid, I maybe would have popped in one of the DVDs and would have been like, "This is boring. Let me just move on to the next one." So very partial of like I could have watched the first part of Reboss Operation. I maybe couldn't have. The only one I know for certain I watched was Stones of Blood, which I remember liking as a kid.
Mhm.
Which Stones of Blood and Pirate Planet are pretty much the fan favorites I've heard from the Key to Time season.
Yeah, we're not talking about Reboot's Operation, but I'm looking forward to the Pirate Planet with Douglas Adams. I like Douglas Adams. But we are starting things off with the Reboss Operation, broadcast from September 2nd to September 23rd, 1978. This was written by the wonderful Robert Holmes, directed by George Spenton Foster, who did Image of the Fendall last season.
He also, in late 1982, left the Liverpool-based soap opera Brookside 4 days before it aired because of a disagreement over bad language in the dialogue. That is the second. That is the second paragraph. No, sorry, the third paragraph, I guess, in his Wikipedia. Very important to know.
Mhm.
Also, something I feel like we didn't mention at all last season. I could have mentioned it maybe or the Horror Fang Rock, but I don't think I did. Just remember that a season starting with Horror Fang Rock, John Nathan Turner is the production assistant on Doctor Who.
I was just noticing that now as I look at the credits.
Like he this the we're at the point now that for the rest of classic Doctor Who, he has had some role in every story, which is nuts.
That's kinda crazy.
I When I was in Boston yesterday, Ben, I stumbled upon a book that he wrote about the Doctor Who companions, and it was like a children's book. It was like a picture book for children, and I the thing I loved most about it was the author's page with a picture of John Nathan Turner with the '80s rainbow title sequence behind him. It was a beautiful image.
Yeah, I've seen that on eBay. Wonder if it's any good.
They wanted $10 for it. I was like, I'm not paying $10 for that book.
I've been getting back into scrolling through eBay, seeing if I can find any good lots.
Mm.
'Cause I gotta collect all the Virgin New Adventures before we get to Survival, so we gotta be ready. So yeah, Cam, what did you think of the Reboss operation?
I liked it. It was one of those episodes of Classic Doctor Who that is good. It's not great in any ways. It's kind of not even good. I would say it's probably in that range of okay to good range. Of it's an acceptable Doctor Who story. There's not a lot of elements in it that I think are very much stands out, but there's not a lot of elements that I'm like, I hate this. I am disinterested in this. It kind of is just a fun story to watch, and it kind of is comforting to watch this story. I think the main problem with the story though is it's missing a villain, it's missing monster, some baddie, like it's missing that element to the story that I think makes it so it's kind of just a okay watchable story at the end of the day, and that makes it a great story. But what we have, it's a great introduction to the keys of time arc, and it's also it is a good introduction to Romana I as a character, and it instantly sets off this character relationship with the Doctor to be pretty enjoyable to watch. What did you think of it, Ben?
Yeah, I would say it just it crosses that line to just interesting enough, very watchable, very average. I would agree it's definitely missing it needs a stronger villain or a monster. What we have for both of those is inadequate.
Like, who is the villain of the story for you, Ben?
It's Graph Graph Vindicay.
But like,
Like, objectively, that is the villain.
you know what I mean. You know what I mean, though, is that's not like he's not that the most like he's not an evil villain. He's just you
Yeah, I
know.
mean, he's a little bit crazy. He's like, he yells a lot. It's kind of an over the top performance, but not in a good way. He not like in a Delgado way.
No.
He's just kind of like, "Ah, I'm want the throne. You will give me my money." Just eh. Yeah, it doesn't really sell it. And then I guess if you could argue that the Shrivens are, technically a monster, but they're in it for, like, 2 minutes,
Yeah.
or they are on screen for, like, 2 minutes, and you can see it's just a guy crawling on all fours in a bad costume. What I would say the 2 most interesting things about this story is the new companion.
K9.
Yes, Canine Mark II. I'm so excited for this brand new companion. Never seen anything like it before. What was your favorite Canine Mark II moment?
um He was there. He said some dialogue.
Characters do that. They do say dialogue. But yeah, there doesn't seem to be any kind of difference
No.
between Mark II and Mark One. I was doing a lot of Googling, seeing if I can figure out, is there any difference? What is it, John Leeson?
Yeah.
If he plays does he play it any different? From what I can tell, it is a new prop, but it's looks the same. Like, they make it try and make it look as close as possible to the original prop. That's about it. He has, like, this dog whistle that the doctor uses a couple different times that he to call K9 to him. That's the big thing that's new, that's different.
At one point, John Leeson doesn't voice him. It's another voice actor. That's coming. I think it's next season.
Yeah, but for real though, the new companion, Romana Lundar. Let's talk about her first. I thought the first part of the serial, which is mostly just or I guess the first half of it is setting up the season arc where we see the White Guardian and we meet Romana.
Yes.
And I think that, like, those first 12 minutes, I think were the best and most interesting part of this
Yes.
story,
I would agree.
which is not great. Sucks that the next hour and a half isn't as interesting.
But just a pause there before we go too much into Rana. Do want to go behind the scenes thing.
Yeah,
Did you see that they did go offer Elizabeth Sladen to come back at this time?
I did not.
So there she was offered, and but then she declined. So then they wrote Romana. But it would have been interesting if the White Guardian was like, "I brought a friend with you. I summoned a friend of yours to help you with this journey," and then he goes into TARDIS, then he meets Sarah Jane. That would have been a great moment.
Ah, that would have been.
But also, I think it is interesting just from like a starting point of just like it's a companion that I don't think we have seen since like you can kind of debate that some of the unit ones like Kate Shaw and Joe Grant are similar, but this one's like it's not the doctor's choice to have this companion,
No.
you know? I find that to be interesting about Romana from the get-go.
I mean, I guess neither was Layla. She kinda just forced him to take him.
But like he had more control in this that over that one. Like he could have been like, no, and just shut the door and left her. Like
He actively was like, "No, I don't want anybody," and the White Guardian says, "Yeah, tough luck. You're taking her. I don't want her." But yeah, Romana, our first Time Lord companion since Susan. Is this our last Time Lord companion? Will we have more Time Lord companions?
I'm thinking, Ben. I'm thinking real hard. I'm thinking the answer is no, technically, kinda, but that doesn't count in my opinion.
Technically, kinda, but actually, no.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You'll find out in the new series, Ben.
Guess I won't ask you to elaborate.
You could debate like there's two versions of it that you could like well no. I would say no, their answer is no. We never this is the only Time Lord companion that we have. That Susan and Romana are the two.
Well, I hope she's better than Susan.
Well, she just didn't shriek and like just cry, not cry, but like cry out every single time she needed like she wasn't fair this episode.
No, just a couple times.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think of Romana? Just specifically Romana 1,
Yeah.
just from this episode, regardless of whatever you know in the
Well,
future.
I think there's not a lot to say about her for the rest of the episode. I think again it's those that first part is where we really get to see the most
Yeah,
out of Romana.
the other 3 episodes, she's just kind of also there, and she
Yeah.
doesn't really I mean, she gets herself stuck, and that's the cliffhanger for part 1, but other than that, she's just kind of nearby.
Like some of that stuff on the TARDIS is great with Tom.
That first half of the first part.
I would say the entirety of the first part. Because then when they leave the TARDIS and he has that great that scene where Tom goes like, "Hey, what should I call you? I can't say the full Romana name.
How about Fred?
Well, how about Fred?" And she's like, I like Fred." Okay, Romana, let's go. And it's just like, oh, that's so great. That's that. It's like it's so perfect for Tom's doctor in particular to say a line like that. Like that's very much like Tom Baker could get away with something like that and have it still be likable.
Yeah. Yeah, she definitely it's an interesting dynamic, very different dynamic, a lot more playful hostility. I think it's playful?
Yeah. Definitely. I think that one of the interesting things about this first plot that we do reveal about the doctor, Romana says that he didn't have good test scores at the academy, which I think is a version of the doctor that I much more prefer than some of the modern adaptations of the doctor. Not adaptations, but the versions of the doctor where he's the most genius person that ever existed. It's like I love that the doctor is just kind of this bumbling idiot that is not even like he's not this like there's something more enduring about the character that he's not the smartest time lord. Like he's just kind of this rogue time lord that just is traveling the universe that like
Yeah.
there's nothing too special about the doctor. I feel like a lot of times nowadays, even before the time of child, like the doctor was like, well, before that, he's the last of the time lords. It's like, nah, it's kind of something cooler about like he's just now he's a time lord and he's just kind of a bumbling idiot time lord.
Yeah. He's just the guy that said, "Screw this," and stole a TARDIS and decided to see the galaxy. It's good to have him intelligent, but, like, I mean, Zoe is smarter than him. Like,
And now Romana is, at least by test scores. Not, of course, by experience.
but hey, test scores ain't everything. He's got the street smarts. She's got book smarts, I guess. I don't know. I'm not fully on board with her, I guess. I feel like I need to see more of her. Like, I think it could work.
It struggles because, like we mentioned, like she's very memorable for that first pot, but then like those other three pots, she's just not really there in this story. She doesn't play a
Yeah.
memorable role.
All I remember for the other 3 parts is her dress.
Yeah, which like shout out to the costume design for that dress. Like that is not dress, like it's a coat.
Or the coat, yeah.
Like it's we rarely as straight men on this show talk about costume design, but like my god, it's a beautiful design. It's very memorable and classic.
Yeah.
Also talking about costumes, did you notice that Tom Baker has a new scarf?
Again?
Yeah, so what they did is they sewed the old scarf with the scarf, and this is a scarf they have for the next 2 seasons. So that's why it's like extra long, and like he has some bits that's the skinny bits, and he has some bits that's the more wider bits that we got last season. But I think it works way better than just the wide one that we got at the end of 15. Having the two combinations and having it be like wrapped over him works so much better.
Yeah, that works.
Like I don't know. I'm just someone that I'm not the biggest fan of the Invasion of Time or the underworld look of the scarf,
Yeah,
personally. That I think is looks more like the Fourth Doctor should look.
agreed. Anything more to say about Romana?
No, it's just like I wish there was more to say, you know?
Yeah, me too.
But I gotta say, I love that now that we got the main three companions, I think it's fair to say it's like I do like that they for Tom's Doctor, they're all very three different types of companions for his main three.
To your knowledge, is Romana 2, other than it's a different actress, she's gonna play it a little different, is it that different of a character, or is it pretty much the same?
Pretty much the same except for like I don't know how much the again, I don't really remember that much about this. From what I've seen of the season, I don't really remember that much of it. So I really can't say. Of course Lala has a really strong connection with Tom Baker because I don't know if you know this, they got married around that time.
Yeah,
So they have a dynamic that they got a dynamic, you know? You can tell that they have chemistry
more than
more than Perry Tam, but it's like
yeah.
I think it's hard to say. I think we'll talk about more about that when we get to the end of Tom and talk about the differences between Romana
Yeah,
1 and 2.
yeah.
Because I think it's unfair to say now because again, I have a little bit more experience with Romana 2, but I don't even have that much experience with Romana 2. I've only seen a couple of Romana 2 episodes.
Gotcha.
But yeah, what else is there to talk about the Ribos operation, Ben?
I mean, we already kinda said the villain kinda sucks.
Yep. Just
Any
not
of
memorable at all.
what do you think of the other guys? Garon and Unstaff?
I like the idea on paper of con men in this Doctor Who world. It's kind of I don't know. Like you would know more about Star Trek than me, but it's kind of more Star Trekky. How this one really goes on about like this is a Type 3 civilization, and like Type 2 once they discover like hyperspace. It's like it felt very much like
Yeah.
first contact and like that type of stuff where it's like, like you would know more than me.
Yeah, there's playing with the, like, rules for how to deal with civilization.
Which Doctor Who doesn't really go into that much. But I like the idea of like these con men would go to these worlds that are maybe not as civilized and try to con them into valuable stuff. Makes sense in a science fiction world. And I think that at least the main guy, I'm blanking on his name.
Garon?
Yeah, Garen is Garen's good. I think the performance is good, but, like, not the most memorable character in the world.
Nah, none of them really are. I kinda liked Binro, though. Did you like Binro?
Who's that? I'm bad terrible at names, then.
Cam, you just watched this, like, an hour ago.
Ben, you know me me with names, with stories, I don't pay attention to names.
How will you talk about this story 10 years from now? How
I
will you tell your grandkids about Binro if you don't remember?
is he the old guy that is, like
Binro the Heretic.
yeah, he's good.
Yeah. I thought the moment where stuff is telling Binro about, like, "You're right, they are stars, and we travel them," and I thought that moment was kinda sweet.
His last that actor that played Benra is Timothy Bateson. Do you know who his last role was, Ben?
I do not.
It was in Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix. He was Creature. Creature is the house elf that belongs to Sirius Black.
Oh. I am familiar with Creature.
Shout out to Timothy Bateson.
Yeah, I guess he does sound similar now that I think about it. I wouldn't have put that together. Well, I guess special effects? You wanna talk about special effects?
Yeah, sure. Nothing really special effects wise really stood out to me of being like because a lot of it is just in sets.
Yeah,
I think I did read somewhere that this is a 100% studio bound story.
yeah, I could tell.
And also, it not being like a science fiction story, there's not a lot of like, not it's not something like the Invisible Enemy where there's really big special effects that we can talk about. With this story, it's not as prevalent.
Yeah. I think the only thing we can say is the worst is the Shrivenzales,
Yeah,
which did not look good.
but what's the best, Ben?
I thought the White Guardian, that kind of his area, and he pops into existence and pops out of existence. I don't know. It was fine. It worked.
Yeah, it worked.
So what does this story need?
I mentioned in the beginning, it needs a bad guy, it needs a villain, it needs a monster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if this is the Time Warrior, it needs the Santaran. Like
Yeah.
it needs something like that to be like, okay, don't have it be con men that come to this world. It's like, no, there is an alien presence in this world taking over or like trying to con them. It's like do something like that that's a little bit more stakes.
More sci-fi.
Yeah.
Like some of the dialogue, it talks about sci-fi, but the story is very straightforward.
Yeah, usually I on the record for saying like Robert Holmes is really good about being an ideas man, that he has so many ideas in his scripts. I think this is one of those ones where you can tell that he's kind of at the end of his doing Doctor Who because you can kind of tell that there's not as many ideas here as for like compare this to like Carnival of Monsters that had a bajillion ideas in it.
Yeah.
Well, you have a story like this that just has like 2 or 3 that he's working with, and he's trying his hardest to be able to make it work with those. So it needs more things for the viewer to latch onto, really. More ideas.
I don't think every story needs a monster, but this is one that does.
Yeah. Or it needs at least a bad guy that's more threatening and more of a presence to him that's
Yeah.
much more like, "No, he is doing this and we need to stop him." Like, there's nothing like that in this story.
Yeah. I mean, the villain, really all he's doing is I guess he did some bad stuff in a war and he's trying to get back the money that was stolen from him. I guess he kills a guy, but like it does not have the presence.
No. Alright, Ben. Cliffhangers. What's the cliffhangers looking like?
It's a lot of the same. First one is the Doctor and Romana get trapped under the Shrivenzale cage door, and Romana screams. Second one, the Doctor's about to be shot, By the Graph, gonna be executed as accomplices. Third, Doctor and Romana about to be found in the catacombs by the Graph.
This is one of those very I don't think we've had much of this in us doing the show. I don't know if there's a good cliffhanger in this bunch, Ben.
Yeah.
Usually there's at least one that we're like, "Oh no, that cliffhanger is great." Or at least we're like, "That's a good cliffhanger."
These are all about the same.
Like they all suck. None of them would as a kid, you're not gonna be like on the playground next day being like, "How are they gonna come out of this one, guys?" You're not doing that for the Ribos operation.
If gun to my head, if I had to choose one, maybe 2. I kinda like the doctor's, like, "Wait, hang on," like, shocked expression, but that's it. It's gives it 1 more point than the other 2. Would you agree?
I do like the last shot of like Tom Baker's eyes in part one though. Like that's a good like, oh god, what am I gonna do? And it is kind of fun just to see Romana just be like, get me out of here. Like I don't know. It's not great.
I don't like that one. I hope Romana is not a screamer. I hope she is not always the damsel in distress. It isn't a for a good first cliffhanger to have to immediately she does something stupid.
I'll say this: Romana 2 is not like that. Romana 1, I have no idea.
I guess we'll have to see. So Cam, what would you rate this story?
Honestly, this is gonna be one of those times where I think I'm probably gonna rate it lower than what I would have had before having this conversation with you. Having this conversation with you about the episode has kind of made it a little bit more soured in my palate. I don't know about you.
I mean, that's just every time I talk with you.
Like,
I usually end up liking it a little less than I did at the beginning.
I'm sorry, but that I'm a cynical bastard.
Uh, I think this is like a 6 story. I don't know about you. This is like
Like, I woulda came in here being like, it's a 7, like, before coming in here, but now I'm like, "Alright, let me look at the list."
this is like a mid to high 6, I think.
I think for me, the big thing is, like, is this better than The Invisible Enemy? Like, this isn't as good as Image of the Fendal. This is not I don't think this is as good as Invisible Enemy. I think it's a 6.7 for me.
Yeah,
I think that's the best way to describe it, because I think I would prefer watching both Image of the Fendal and The Invisible Enemy over this story.
I would definitely agree with that. I would wanna watch it over Mass. Would I wanna watch it more or less than Planet of Evil? Less. Yeah, it's like a yeah, I'll match it. I'll do 6.7.
One of the lowest, but also it's not the worst thing in the world. What did we give a 6.7 for Pertwee? Did we do anything like that for Pertwee?
We have never given a 6.7 before.
Or nothing in this range. So it's interesting because we don't have anything to compare it to.
You gave Curse of Paladon a 6.8 and Planet of the Daleks 6.9. I gave The Mutant 6.9.
Yeah, I would probably this is similar to Planet of the Daleks in my in my head realm.
Yeah. Thank God it was 4 parts and not a 6-parter.
Yeah.
Remember when seasons used to be just full of 6-parters?
No, it was one of the best decisions that Hinchcliffe and Robert Holmes did was being like, okay, we got to cut those back, and then we're gonna get John Nathan Turner. That's gonna be like, we're gonna get rid of six potters altogether. It's gonna be like, thank God, John. John, you're our hero.
Yeah, I think this season, Armageddon Factor,
It's supposed to be bad.
I think is the last, unless you wanna count Shada, which didn't come out.
It's Shadow, man.
Shada.
I've said this to you before. You always try to do this. You always try to make it sound fancy. It's just Shadow.
Okay.
I might be wrong, but I swear I've heard it multiple times. People saying it's Shadow.
I've never heard it out loud that I can remember. So unless you wanna count that, unless you wanna argue that The Two Doctors is a 6-parter
Yeah.
'cause it's a 3 45-minute episodes, or you wanna argue about Flux, is Flux a 6-parter?
According to Doctor Magazine, it's a one potter.
Other than that, Armageddon Factor is will be the last.
All right, Ben. Where did this rank? Of course, Doctor Magazine every couple of years, almost around every decade, they do a poll with the Doctor Who fans rank every story. Where do they rank Reboss Operation?
I think Ours opinion is an uncommon one, maybe. The Ribos Operation in 2023 ranked 20. In 2014, it ranked 18. In 2009, it ranked 24. And in 98, it ranked 29. So it's kind of fluctuated.
Where is it? What's above and below it, Ben?
It is right below the Hand of Fear in 2023 and right above the Face of Evil. So it says it's better than Face of Evil. It's better than Image of the Fendal. It's better than Robot. It's better than Planet of Evil. It's better than Mask. It's better than Santaran Experiment. It's better than Android Invasion. It's better than Sunmakers. Better than Revenge of the Cybermen. I would disagree with a lot of that.
And in 2014, the last time they did a full poll, because of Jodie Whittaker era, we can't have nice things basically because of Jodie Whittaker era killed the fandom. You know, I shouldn't blame Jodie Whittaker's era. No, that's more just like Trumpism and like anti woke shit. But anyways, Reboss Operation ranked pretty high, like you were saying, Ben. It ranked 103. For reference, above it is the Unicorn and the Womps, and below it is the Mask of Mandragora, and below that is Amy's Choices, which is one of my favorite stories, which is appalling to me. I think that belongs way, way above Mask of Mandragora, Reboss Operation.
Damn. Yeah.
God, they ranked also above Hand Affairs the massacre. Did you like the massacre, Ben?
I mean, it's a reconstruction. It can only be so good. I've heard people kind of like it because it's basically a Steven Solo story. The Doctor isn't really in it. It was fine, kind of not really my thing. Historicals just aren't really my thing. I think Abbot Thelonious is kind of interesting.
But next week we're not going to be talking about the massacre, man.
I mean, we might, we could. Do you want to talk about the massacre?
No, no, I don't think so. Because we got next week Douglas Adams coming in.
The Pirate Planet. So be sure, don't miss it. Be right here next Saturday at noon EST.
Same Hui Hu time, same Hui Hu channel.
Indeed. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment, tell us why we're wrong and this is one of the greatest stories, or why we're wrong and why this is really, Underworld is a masterpiece in comparison. Let us know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So we will see you next week. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Peace out, everyone.